I'm here today with Carmelo Lipsy, who's the VP and Chief Operating Officer at Mpac. How are you today?
Very good, thank you.
I'm very well, thank you very much for joining us. So we're going to talk today about what everybody loves, the municipal property assessment. You do work for their corporation as the Vice President and the Chief Operating Officer. You create and maintain comprehensive databases that is used widespread. I mean, I use it in my last job as well. So why don't you tell me a little bit about Mpac in your words, and then we're going to localize this to Sault Ste. Marie.
That's great. So Mpac, or the Municipal Property Assessment Corporation, are the individuals that determine the assessed value of all properties in the province of Ontario. We're provided legislation by the provincial government that directs our mandate around the work that we do. We are the valuation experts in Ontario that are constantly monitoring market activities to ensure that we're abreast of changes that are taking place within the real estate market.
Okay, great. So property values have gone up here in Sault Ste. Marie quite a lot in the last year. Can we talk a little bit about that and how that might affect our assessments?
Yeah, one of the things that we're seeing quite recently across Ontario is that the value of properties have increased, especially on the residential side. So residential properties have been appreciating in value, and we're seeing, countless articles that are talking about what's happening within the real estate marketplace. Sault Ste. Marie is no different than what we're seeing elsewhere. And what that really means then is that the value of residential properties have increased. From a valuation perspective, in terms of what Mpac does, all of our values are still based on a January 1st, 2006 valuation date. So what that means is that although the market has changed, the value of all properties in Ontario are still based on what the market would have sold for based on January 1st, 2016.
Okay. COVID-19 has made many changes across the province, across the country, and across the world. How has COVID-19 or this past year challenged you at Mpac to do your job? Has it changed anything, and will we be affected by that in years to come?
Yeah, one of the things that we did very quickly on, as a result of the pandemic, is that we were actually able to very quickly flip and have our employees work from home so that we could continue to carry out the responsibilities that we're required to do and that municipalities rely on us to do. So as a result of that, we moved our entire employment team to work from home, and we continue to do the work of conducting inspections, collecting all the necessary information, and keeping our database is actually a very important part of what we need to do to stay current with the ever-changing landscape of properties in Ontario. We have been impacted as a result of the pandemic with restrictions in our abilities to conduct field inspections. So that it has changed the way that we have been doing work. But we've been partnering with municipalities across the province to get us the information that we need to ensure that we can carry out and continue to update data on all properties in Ontario.
Okay, I want to ask you a question about data and breach of data, or just data security in general. Several articles and stories have gone on out throughout the years on social media data breaches and whatnot. Clearly, you have a lot of data that you have to maintain, manage, and are highly responsible for. What are some of your procedures and protocols around your data security?
Yeah, I mean, we have a database of 5.4 million properties in Ontario, and that continues to grow. As an organization, we take data security very seriously. We've been certified as under ISO 27001 that provides a certification around, the measures that we're taking to protect data. We take it, as I mentioned, it's a very serious part of what we do, given the information that we have. And we have a team of individuals that are solely focused on ensuring that data is protected and used for the purposes that it was intended for, but obviously not used in areas that it never was.
Now, I understand you had to make some adjustments as well as just staying connected and responding to the evolving and the changing needs of the community. So I wanted to thank you for that and for your time today. I could ask you so many questions, but I'm pretty sure that we both have other things to do at the moment. But I would love to ask you at this moment, is there anything you would like to add to this interview that you would like to let the people of Northern Ontario as well as Ontario know?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we always like to share is that, Mpac is committed to supporting property owners and businesses in Ontario. And if anybody has any questions about the value of their property or the information that we have on file for their property or their home, I would ask them to visit mpac.ca, log into the About My Property portal, and take a look at all the information that we have there. It'll show information about the individual's home or property, show
Okay.
information about sales that have taken place. And
Okay.
also, if an individual is interested in, wanting to take a closer look and potentially file a review of the value on their property, we provide a very easy way for that to be done through About My Property.
That was great. That was actually my one last question. When, again, to remind people, when we get our property assessments in the mail from Mpac, and if they have questions, they direct them to you via email and telephone. If you could just share that quickly, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any questions, as I mentioned, go to
Yeah.
our website first, take a look at all the information that's
Okay.
there, and then through that, they can access whatever way they can. And we're always here to support.
Okay, great. Hey, Carmela, I really want to thank you for taking the time out today. You're very busy as Chief Operating Officer and Vice President of Mpac. It was an absolute honor to speak with you today, and I hope one day we can have this interview in person.
Most definitely. Thank you.